And welcome back to the LEC Game 2 of the day. About to hit the rift, about to do things, about to have some action, some fights, Vedi. I'm excited. You locked in? You ready? You ready, Vedi?
Hey, guys.
Are you ready, Vedi?
You're gonna need some
Vedi, are you ready?
on this. Okay, so like,
you locked in?
I've been telling
You locked in, Vedius?
I've been telling Medic like before we cast.
It's been awful.
I've been like, all right, I need to lock in Medic because I think that he doesn't focus enough. You know what I mean? Like we get into the cast, I'm doing a lot of the heavy lifting. You know, like he's just kind of standing there, and so I'm like, all right, Medic, I need you to lock in. You know, to get the energy pumped, to get us ready.
Very loud.
And now he just
loud.
every opportunity he has, he says, "You locked in, Vedi? Are you locked in, Vedius? Have you been locked?"
I mean, you seem quite loose right now, man. Have you taken the padlock? Have you locked it in? Have you thrown away the key?
Is the code
the key
applied?
over there?
Is the lock?
You have the combination. This is the question, Vedius.
In any case,
someone solve the
we
lock?
are locked in. You are locked in. Let's do the music thing.
Whoa! And now we'll see which champions are locked in.
Let's see what's locked in.
Misfits Gaming on the blue side, Astralis on the red. Misfits sitting near the bottom of the table. Only 2 wins, 6. They'll be really looking for a win here. And of course, Astralis got a great win yesterday against Schalke, defeating the undefeated streak that was 4 games. And with the addition of MagiFelix, the question is, can Astralis turn their fortunes around? Well, Misfits Gaming are having none of this. They say, Zanzarah, we know what you're good at. The Scorpion is banned. Captain Flowers is crying. And Astralis will get rid of the Zoe and the Graves as well.
Let's have a look. What else will be taken off the board? The Lily, of course, still up and available. We know Zanzarah is familiar with the champion, and I imagine that if it is open, he will look to get his hands on it. Misfits likely thinking about, ooh, very targeted towards Vetheo here, with both the Syndra and the Zoe taken off the board. I wonder what direction he will go for now. We know that one of his go-to picks is the Victor, but I question whether or not that will make sense here. We have seen him bring out both the LeBlanc and the Yone before. The question is, will he do it again? Oh, and of course, Udyr has made it through the draft. Already a strong lock-in from the side of Misfits.
Yeah, we haven't actually seen Razork play it so far this season, so...
Honestly, don't think you need a lot of experience anyway. I played an Udyr game the other day. Let's just say I'm a great Udyr player, okay?
I'm going to say slight difference between your Diamond 4 solo queue and the LEC stage, although on recent games, perhaps there's not much as difference as we thought there was. Rell has been locked in here, secondly, for Astralis, and we will see what they want to go alongside that. Of course, Kai'Sa is still available. It is one of those power picks. We have seen Jeskla play a few Samira games, and the Rell Samira Joe is a very strong one in the bottom lane, but there's the Kai'Sa instead. Also,
we get that Kai'Sa Rell combo, which is always very, very cool. So, I'm thinking about what is possibly locked in next. We could see the Vayne answer once again from Kobbe. I think the Vayne is also great into Rell. When you think about her telegraphed and slow, I think her knockup is. The Condemn can probably act as a great way to disengage from that tool. But instead, they're going to stick with the Xayah. We already have heard multiple times from LS how he's not a fan of the matchup, and I understand the logic, but I think the main reason why teams in Europe do it is because the Xayah gives you a lot of power and agency in the 2 versus 2 lane. It also is one of those AD carries which provides self-peel, which I think is a much wanted quantity, or quality rather, in the current meta. AD carries that can protect themselves. Interestingly, MagiFelix is going to go for the Corki once again. I thought that it was an answer to the Azir yesterday, but we do know that MagiFelix is very comfortable on the Corki, and he mentioned to us in an interview yesterday that he had to kind of join on short notice. So it seems to me that sticking to something that he's had a lot of comfort with in the past, and it worked out for him yesterday. So.
It did. I mean, he did say in the interview he's been one-tricking Nico. So picking something that perhaps is relatively easy to pilot on a pretty high level makes sense for MagiFelix. I like the Rakan ban here from Astralis. Rakan works well into the Rell, and of course teamed up with the Xayah is the optimal laning duo for her. It's the Alistar ban as well. And we see Misfits Gaming start to pinch some of the junglers. Hecarim taken away. We've already seen, of course, the Skarner removed. The Lily is gone. The Graves is gone. We're looking at a Jarvan now, it seems, for Zanzarah.
So Zanzarah is I mean, even before joining the LEC, I was told that he's a player that loves playing for his team, loves playing for his laners, much prefers playing tanky junglers rather than like the hard carry style junglers. So I'm not too surprised to see the Jarvan. I think that it's much more within his comfort zone. I think that even after the nerfs to Gordrink is still a very strong champion. The biggest problem is that you do kind of fall behind when it comes to clear speed, and if you're not being active on the map, I think that Udyr can kind of run away with how powerful he can get because of how quickly he clears the jungle and how much money he gets to put into his pocket. So it's something that they're going to have to be careful of, and we'll see how active on the map Zanzarah can be, because right now I feel like the only lane he can really play around is the bot side of the map, so this top lane matchup is going to be very important.
And there is the Leona for VandeR in the bottom lane. The top lane, it's a Jayce for HiRit. It feels like you've got quite a lot of long-range poke from the Misfits lineup alongside a bit of engage potential with the Leona. And Astralis perhaps will be looking for a little bit more engage of their own. As WhiteKnight has been playing a lot of Gnar recently. It doesn't work too well into the Jayce, and instead it's going to be the Ornn. Does give you long-range engage, gives you a good front line, and allows this team composition to work front to back if it so desires.
So, very straightforward teamfight comp coming out from Astralis. They're trying to keep things very simple, looking to play around those Drakes, looking to scale up. Nothing too crazy. I think that the best lane you can look to gank for on the bot side of the map, as Zanzarah's primary focus will be to farm, I think, to try and be that engage tool that helps work with both the Rell and the Ornn later on into the game. Meanwhile, Misfits, they do have some options towards the bot side of the map themselves with the Leona Xayah, very powerful. But I think one of the biggest things is they want to try and get this top lane ahead. I think that with Orianna, you do have the ability to gain control in the mid 1v1 because of her early power. So maybe you can look to path up towards top. Maybe they can even get some Leona roams unlocked to play towards top. But I want to see HiRit getting ahead on this Jayce for Misfits to be able to try and get this early lead and get the game going.
Misfits versus Astralis coming up next. And before we get on really into the action, I do want to just remind people of what happened yesterday. Astralis beat Schalke, Vedius. Yep. This team was 1-6. No one expected it to happen. Schalke had just come off wins against Rogue, against G2. They were on a 4-game winning spree. And then Zanzarah and the crew just popped off and took down Schalke. The addition of MagiFelix this week seems to be paying off for them. And I do think it's very... You don't want to make conclusions off one game. But Astralis looks a lot better.
We love making conclusions.
Only after the game's finished, because then it's results-based. But Astralis looked so much better yesterday with the addition of MagiFelix, and they looked very coordinated. And the question is, can they continue that form in this game against Misfits, who have been struggling?
Well, I think that the debate will always be, was it Schalke performing poorly, or was it Astralis playing very well, right? And I know there was some debates around the draft yesterday. And I think that Astralis had a pretty solid draft, but because both comps scaled quite similarly, the fact that they were able to get that lead and then make a lot of picks they were able to, like, sure, they definitely did a lot of things right. But that's also why we don't want to make too many strong statements after a single game, right? And that's also why I think it's a good question to ask. What difference does MagiFelix make? Because, you know, oh, hang on, bit of a trade down towards the bot side of the map already. Astralis 2v2. Off to a good start, but yeah, like, of course, Nukeduck's announcement to depart with the team was largely due to personal reasons, and as MagiFelix said himself, he had to arrive with the team on short notice, so I don't think this was like in the works for a long period of time. He just kind of joined, and I think they were just hoping for the best, and so far they found some success, and we'll have to see if that success can continue. And of course, going up against Misfits, kind of odds are in their favor. Misfits, their only wins were in the first week of the split. Yep. They went 2-1 in our Super Week. A lot of people were excited, and then even moving into the second week when they played teams like Rogue, we were like, wow, okay. They had a really intense game versus Rogue. Maybe there's something here. Maybe there is some real potential on this roster, but then they kind of flip it around and then they get smashed, and their games have been so inconsistent. And their game versus G2 yesterday, you know, they fought back at times. They made things difficult for G2, but they have been so wildly inconsistent in their levels of performance, and part of it, I think, is due to the draft. Sometimes I think Razork has really pop-off games, and other games I think that he's kind of putting them in massive early deficits. So A lot of question marks have just consistently surrounded Misfits, and so that's why I think this game is so important, because as both teams want to still try and make it to playoffs, and as a team like SK has started to create more of a gap between the top teams and the bottom teams, a win for both of them is very much needed in order to still contest that playoff spot.
Yeah, we said it in the last game. Only one team with 2 or less wins at the halfway mark of the split has made it into playoffs, Vedius, and both these teams currently sit at that 2-win mark. The loser here would have a mountain to climb to make it into playoffs, and even the winner still on the outside looking in.
And I still think that when you look at our top 6 right now, there are qualities for all of these teams that make them very threatening. Yeah. You know, even the Mad Lions currently sitting at 6. I think that for any of these teams, it would be a challenge to take them down. So we have a pretty competitive top 6 right now here in the LEC, and both of these teams are going to have to make some pretty stark improvements if they want to challenge. So we are already 4 minutes into the game, of course. We didn't really expect a huge amount of action, which is kind of why we had that chat. But let's kind of take stock of the situation. It seems that kind of even across the board, both junglers are towards the bot side of the map right now. The wave is pushing towards that of the Astralis duo, so Zanzarah using this opportunity to sneak into the lane. Thank you, observers, for highlighting they have no idea, but Misfits know where VandeR is. Oh, good ward there. Will spot him out. So now he's just here to cover as the Udyr clears the bot side of the map. But now Zanzarah needs to reset, because you'll notice that his Krogs are up. He wants to get back up towards the top side and start clearing through jungle again.
MagiFelix, you alright? You okay?
Flasher? He's fine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but Vetheo could, like, one auto into flash auto kills him, right?
I mean, I trust MagiFelix there.
So do I, as the roots come down in the bottom lane. Blade Caller in up, promisq forced away, Ignite ticking, and first blood to Kobbe. Jeskla forced back underneath the tower. Big
blunder there in the 2 versus 2 from Astralis. That was a huge wave stacking up, and yeah, promisq sitting in that brush, was not expecting to get engaged on, and now Jeskla forced away from that entire wave simply due to the presence.
Oh, that's a little bit of a knockback there. WhiteKnight does still have flash. HiRit looking for the extra damage. One more auto, not gonna be enough, not in range. Didn't want to burn his flash.
Wow, okay. The solo lane of Astralis really playing at the edge of their health bars as they're getting pressured in both mid and top. So Misfits all across the board. The very early game was slow, but now they're starting to find advantages. CS leads mid, CS lead top. Let's have a look back at this. So no ward in that brush, but level advantage in favor of VandeR. Stunned up, root comes through. And this is some of that early laning power that we were talking about from the Xayah. Her ability to catch you off guards and how quickly she can stack up those feathers synergizes very well with the Leona and the CC that she can provide. So promisq ends up getting punished there. And now Zanzarah is hovering around the top side of the map. Should be spotted and was pinged out by Misfits, so they know that he is here. I wonder what Razork will do. Level 5 coming into the lane, ready for the counter engage.
WhiteKnight hits 6 and looks for the call of the Forge God, lands it onto HiRit. The brittle passive coming out, but WhiteKnight is now on the retreat because the TP's in from Vetheo, and WhiteKnight has nowhere to go. No flash. The sombrero, it's more of a shockwave just on his head. Didn't miss. And it's another kill for Misfits.
Very well played from Misfits. They're now ballooning their gold lead to 1.5k, only 6 minutes in. But Zanzarah trying to get something back.
Yeah, Vetheo should be okay here. I was wondering how quickly MagiFelix would be able to work his way across, and you can see MagiFelix just trying to help out his jungler. Zanzarah still forced low, has the flash available. MagiFelix trading in once again. Razork with a bit of a flank, but MagiFelix will just Valkyrie off towards the top of the lane.
Okay, so that was just Zanzarah trying to cover for his lanes. He wanted to cover topside so that WhiteKnight could push in that wave, look for a reset, go back to base, replenish some itemization, and be happy. Instead, his top laner ends up dying. So good use of the teleport from Vetheo. He knew that he had that TP advantage over MagiFelix and was able to get something off the back of it. So yeah, I think this early game so far has just been a matter of Misfits punishing some of the plays from Astralis and reaping the benefits.
Yeah, 4 minutes, we were even. It's now 7 minutes, and Misfits have an almost 2,000 gold lead, Vedius, just because of a few of these mistakes. HiRit being able to harass down WhiteKnight in the top lane, gone for a serrated Dirk first. Zanzarah now working his way down towards bottom.
Now, oh, here we go, engage.
He's looking for the knockback here. Has the attract repel as well. Kobbe with the feather sword's going to jump up, and the blade caller's going to do so much work. Almost kills 2 immediately. Razork flash, bear slap across the wall. Jeskla will fall. Zanzarah is going to limp his way away. The minions trying to help out Misfits as much as they can. And those caster minions not quite in range to take aggro onto the Jarvan means that Zanzarah should be able to walk away from this one.
Wow, okay, so another play going in the favor of Misfits here as they tried to get a surprise gank onto the Misfits bot lane. They knew that Kobbe didn't have flash, but also know that the red buff was up. So it wouldn't surprise me if Razork was sitting here telling his bot lane, you should be fine. Zanzarah should be on his top side right now because his red buff just spawned. He should be clearing that, so he should be safe. But of course, by doing this, Razork is also on the bot side of the map, so he was primed, ready for the counter gank, and they were able to punish it aptly. And huge amount of damage, as you highlighted, Medic, coming out from Kobbe on the Xayah, means that they were able to win out on it. So again here, like with the wage state, it looks like that Astralis, this doesn't look like a great place to go for a gank, especially with the huge level difference that comes through. As the level 6 comes through, buys time, and the TP on the flank, it does get interrupted, but Razork as well is here. I think that this was just a little greedy play. I understand the idea was to catch Misfits off guard, but in the end, it ended up backfiring, and now Astralis' bot lane lose even more. They do survive with 14 HP on the Jarvan, but think about what else they have lost. If we could very quickly look at the gold and just see the differences between the laners, we can see a huge difference between the jungle, we can see the difference in the bot lane, and the difference in the top lane and supports as well. So advantages pretty much across the board for Misfits in this early game.
Right, VandeR has as much gold as WhiteKnight does in this game right now. That is a pretty stark difference as Astralis start up the Rift Herald. Zanzarah can just EQ across the wall here as Razork is going to go for the Herald himself.
And look at this, they even brought Jeskla up. I like now that Astralis is sending MagiFelix to bot lane because Jeskla can't afford to be stuffed more farm. Yeah. Kobbe, I like the fact that he stayed bot, pushed in that wave, and then started rotating up. Maybe he could support his team a little bit later, even look for the Scuttle Crab. But Jeskla, he's slowly starting to fall further and further behind, a whole level behind Kobbe already. He will be able to catch this wave, but this is likely going to be a Drake going over to Misfits.
And it's a sizable lead for Misfits this early on. The question is, can they maintain this pressure? Can they maintain this level of play through the rest of the game? Because as you said, the watchword for Misfits throughout the course of this season so far has been inconsistency. Sometimes they look amazing, sometimes they look poor, sometimes even within the same game they do that. And with this early lead, the expectation has to be they're able to get towards those first mythic items and start just really ripping this game away from Astralis.
It's a bit of a shame, really, because I feel like that the term inconsistency has plagued Misfits for a while now.
Yeah.
Of course, Misfits was a very praised and sought-after organization back in 2017, 2018. Yeah. But since then, they have been struggling to find a roster that can really challenge the top spots. And, you know, they weren't making any huge promises about this roster. But after how they started, we were optimistic. And this is definitely a big bounce-back game for them, ending the first half of the split 3-6. Not ideal, but we have seen teams still make the playoffs from this position, depending on how much growth that they can make. As WhiteKnight now all in HiRit in the top lane.
Thundering Blow will knock away WhiteKnight just far enough. Cataclysm used in the mid lane by Zanzarah. Vetheo flashes away. promisq goes in. There's the shockwave immediately, and VandeR dives forward. Solar Flare brings down the power of the sun on promisq. MagiFelix Valkyrie across the wall, but Jeskla is all kinds of hurt. Uses the killer instinct to try and get away, but the feathers fly, and Vetheo will claim the kill.
Very questionable engage there from Astralis. Zanzarah tried to force an all in the bot river when there was a huge wave stacked on the bot tower. Now all that farm is just going to be lost. Astralis are going to fall even further behind. MagiFelix was not in a position to be able to assist, and like, this gold lead is now a 5k difference, and a lot of it is just because of the farm that Astralis is losing across the map. Let's have a look back at the map state right now. So the Herald comes in bot, gives Kobbe a huge amount of gold. Razork also going to benefit off, and they're trying to take advantage of the fact that they think they have a numbers advantage, but MagiFelix can't get over the wall. He actually commits to over the wall, but Zanzarah dies before he can really arrive. Then the front line of promisq also disappears off the back of that, and I think Astralis thought they saw a brief window where they would have a numbers advantage, but the reality was that their front line could not tank enough of the damage, and they also engaged onto the Leona as well. So, well, the Orianna originally after the Orianna flashed out. So, yeah, not an ideal engage there from Astralis.
You can see 2,000 gold lead now for Kobbe on that Xayah over the Kai'Sa. You can see the gold lead in the mid lane as well. It's only about 500, but junglers, sizable sum for Razork. He's got about $1,000 in his back pocket that lacks from Zanzarah's, and with the scoreline reading 7-1, Misfits are in a very powerful position. They've worked their way up towards the top side. HiRit's down towards bot, doesn't have the TP. As you say, they're looking for a dive on WhiteKnight. He does have flash. His teleport about to come off cooldown as well. Call of the Forge God on its way, and so Misfits will be distracted enough to back away.
But this is just this isn't great for Astralis because they're answering these problems by like sending everyone up towards the top side of the map. It's not the end of the world because now it gives the opportunity for WhiteKnight to reset. He could move towards the bot side of the map and catch this wave, but HiRit is just going to benefit so much off of this because that wave is going to get lost to the tower. He's also going to be able to steal away these jungle camps, and Misfits right now, they're just controlling and moving around the map much more efficiently and more optimally than Astralis, which means that these CS discrepancies are starting to get bigger, these gold advantages are starting to accrue, and Misfits slowly working their way towards securing that top tier 1.
And speaking of gold advantages, I will do a quick stat because the game is in this stable position. What do you think the biggest gold lead at 15 minutes this season has been?
I'm going to say it was like 4K and it was Rogue versus Misfits.
You are incorrect. 4.7K, Fnatic versus Vitality.
Oh.
So, we will see if Misfits can get top of the table in at least one statistic at the halfway mark.
Wait, but aren't they already at 6K?
Yeah, but it's at the 15-minute mark is the measure.
No, I'm saying, but aren't they already at 6K?
Astralis could come back somehow, is my point. Like, they have to hold this lead until the 15-minute mark.
That's fair.
If they manage to do that, Misfits,
that's a 7K gold
they
lead
claim
now.
a world record. They're like me.
Is it a world
Unlike
record?
It's an LEC record.
Again, we've had this conversation. I just haven't submitted my world record runs, okay?
Oh, that's from speedrun.com.
That one,
I get it. Okay,
I haven't
yeah,
submitted them, okay? I have them. I just...
Yeah.
What would you have if you didn't have that? Do you know what I mean?
Good looks. I'm a doctor.
Was
handsome.
a doctor.
I'm still a doctor.
No, you can't practice medicine.
I can
Confirm
actually.
this.
I have a license.
Okay, so if my arm just fell off right now, you're telling me that I could trust you to repair my arm?
I'm saying I could save it. Would I? Who knows?
Wow. Okay.
Anyway.
Hurtful. Doctor, by the way. Okay.
7,000 gold lead now for Misfits, matching the amount of kills they've garnered this game. Only one dragon gone down so far. Cloud is up in about 30 seconds time.
Here we go, 30 seconds though, and they may very well just break a record. We'll have to wait and see. Medic, can you confirm for me that in 25 seconds this will in fact be a record? Will it be an LEC record?
It will be an LEC record for this season. Largest gold lead at 15 minutes for Misfits, assuming they don't mess it up and die somehow miraculously. Here we go. Okay, count it down with us, chat. I want to see everyone type it in Twitch chat.
10 seconds.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Congratulations, Misfits!
Yay!
You got something!
Congratulations! Misfits have set themselves a record with the largest goal difference at 15 minutes. Wow. Impressive stuff. Very, very good. Glad we could enjoy that celebration.
For a game with 8 kills at 15 minutes, that was quite, like, off rails.
I mean, Misfits are in firm control right now. I mean, it's just a matter of them making a mistake, I feel. With this kind of a deficit, it is very difficult to come back into the game.
Very true.
You know, there's a reason why that is a record, because getting a gold lead like this is fairly rare, is the honest truth.
And G was on their side, enemy spawns were on their side. They just kept spawning in our faces and we kept killing them.
And that is an 8K gold lead now as they approach the 16-minute mark. They're just continuing to balloon. They have full control over the Drakes. The main reason why they can't in the game right now is because things like Baron isn't alive and things like Corki and Kai'Sa still have very good wave clear. So you're now kind of looking, this is always a very challenging game to cast as a commentator, because you're like, the game feels like it's over. There's very little that Astralis can do to really come back, and like, their comp does give them tools to be able to, like, if the game goes until 40 minutes and they get like 3 items, then sure, I could see a way in which they could win. But that also assumes that Misfit makes mistakes, right? Which is right now in this position, it's very even difficult to make mistakes, you know? So it required one mistake onto another mistake onto another mistake, and right now Misfits, they have firm control over the map.
One of those situations where just outplaying your opponents doesn't always work. You need your opponents to be overextended or outplaying themselves to a degree just because of the size of their loot boxes compared to yours. You can see that 8K gold lead that you talked about, Vedius. Misfits looking to push in this mid-lane tower. And it's also difficult when you're on a team with a new player who hasn't had as much experience with the team to have that strength to come back in a game like this. You can feel pretty defeated and perhaps don't have that almost degree of trust in each other that you might need in these sorts of situations. Of course, not reading into how Astralis are behind the scenes. It's always hard when you have someone new coming into the team to build up that level of trust in each other.
It certainly is. Of course, something hopefully that MagiFelix can build over time. But yeah, definitely not joining a team that is currently set up for success right now in a very difficult position in the standings. But again, still a lot of this game still left to go. The third Drake will be a position where maybe Astralis can look to contest, but I look at the itemization. Kai'Sa still hasn't even completed first item, whereas the Xayah is on 2.
Yeah,
so
pretty strong, pretty strong.
It's, yeah, if I was Jeskla in this situation, I'd be like, I do not want to fight until, you know, ever. I would like Kobbe to leave the game and then allow me to get all the free farm. That would be great. Which, honestly, unlikely, but we'll see. Right now, Astralis setting up numbers in the bot side. Maybe they can find a pick onto HiRit, but a good sweeper will spot out the ward, and he's like, yeah, I don't trust the lack of vision that I have on the bot side of the map, so you know what, I'm just going to give it up for now.
It's one of those small things where Astralis have a little bit of a ray of hope because HiRit is so squishy. It's not like he's playing a tank that can easily survive a 1v3 tower dive, but because the ward was placed just as he was walking past the crop camp, it's very easy for him then to spot it out and know that something might be happening. Misfits continue their push in the top lane, and they have Vetheo working his way up from mid as they gain mid prio as well. HiRit very safe, willing to play the weak side. And Razork just stepping forward here. Zanzarah does have the attract repel on him. Razork's going to walk straight underneath it, but the tower's already gone before they can even do too much. Zanzarah going to flash away, but the solar flare finds its mark. And Misfits take the kill. Astralis perhaps trying to defend where they didn't really have the manpower.
Quite right. Of course, this Jarvan still very squishy, only level 9, only has the Gore Drinker as well, and Misfits, they set that up well. They pushed in mid, they rotated up top, they brought HiRit now up from the bot lane, sacrificed a lot of farm, but they think it's worth it to secure this tower. And as we said, this game feels like just a matter of time for Misfits. They have pretty much dominated from start to finish, outplayed in the 2v2 bot lane. Big advantages gained up towards the top side of the map as well, and while MagiFelix does have a good CS score, unfortunately, the gold sits in the favor of Vetheo.
Hey, Vedi, I don't know what the largest gold lead at 20 minutes was.
Tell me.
8.2k.
8.2k.
We're on the way. We're at 10.7 right now. I think we've got to do it again, Vedi. It's 20 seconds. We'll do it from 5 this time, because like, counting from 10 was a very long time. You guys ready, Twitch chat? You ready to celebrate another LEC record with us?
I think
an LEC
you're overdoing it a little
record. Okay, here we go. You ready, Vedi?
Okay, I can give you one celebration. It'll be a little different, though.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Yeah, okay, that's all it deserved. That's all it deserved. Misfits continue their lead here. 11,000 gold ahead. These 3 items complete, 2.5 items complete on Kobbe. Veteo's gone for a Medjai Soul Stealer second after getting the Leandri's Anguish. And it's just a very difficult position for Astralis to find a fight from. I mean, they could, maybe they hope that Misfits start Baron and make a mistake at it. Maybe they hope the Ocean Dragon distracts Misfits for long enough. I don't know. It's just very difficult.
Yes, agreed. Yeah. Right now, Misfits, they need to push out their bot wave because it's in a bit of an awkward spot right now. It's kind of, oh, hang on, the ultimate coming through. They may have found a pick onto Kobbe, gonna use the Gale Force.
He still has Featherstorm here as well. So as soon as promisq jumps in, he just Featherstorms away. Now VandeR can look for the Solar Flare, re-engage if he so desires. MagiFelix and WhiteKnight stacked up just a little bit. Razork on the chase. Turbo Chem Tank isn't quite enough to close the gap.
So you can see WhiteKnight trying to find a pick with this team, but unfortunately not really able to convert it into anything. Misfits are immediately going to go and convert this into the Drake, and Astralis can use this time to clear out some of the vision on the top side to get a little bit of control around Baron. Maybe they can get that Baron steal, but I mean, if we already have a look at the vision right now, you can see that things not that great still. They have all these line of wards sitting at the back of the pit, so even though Astralis was able to get a little bit more control around this area of the map, it still actually isn't that much control because of Misfits' ability to be able to come in from the flank and actually threaten with the double teleports that they do have on both HiRit and Vetheo. So Astralis, even using that time effectively, actually doesn't give them that much back on the map.
And for the moment, Misfits are willing to do this one by the numbers. 4 minutes on the Ocean Dragon for them. And, you know, it would be good to end the first half of the season on a win for this Misfits lineup. As you say, they've struggled at times throughout LEC Spring, and we have seen, you know, star performances. Vetheo, his first Zoe game, absolutely popped off. Since then, has been a little bit more muted. Kobbe pops off in some of his games as well. Since then, been a little bit muted, and it feels like they've just never really fired on all cylinders at once. It was never a 5-man cohesive engine working together.
For sure, for sure. I think that Kobbe's kind of been Mr. Consistent, as you kind of expect from him, you know.
And since his Splice days, he was known as Mr. Consistent.
Very, very true. He's a very reliable AD carry, but yeah, I think that kind of Misfits' problems have stemmed from a wide array of different reasons. You know, I think there's been no core thing that's been necessarily wrong. One of the things I have questioned is the mid lane champion pool, but it seems that he's bringing out the Orianna, having a solid performance on it, as HiRit has found MagiFelix.
MagiFelix tries to get away. Razork, oh my goodness, that's a very fast bear. Came out of hibernation to chase down Zanzarah, who's forced away. The control ward, where Zanzarah is just about to walk over, wasn't swept earlier on. Now Zanzarah realizes it's there, but there is the solar flare, and the chase is on. Razork forces Zanzarah to try and get away. The ignite is ticking. It's not quite enough. It's actually just the red buff flash in. Razork with the Phoenix Sense will take the kill.
And now with the jungler gone, it's very easy Baron for Misfits. They have full control over the top side jungle. They have bot lane pushed in. They have top lane pushed in. They might want to push one more wave mid, or they might just want to commit to this objective. Without the smite, there's nothing really that they are afraid of. So Misfits looking to try and close out this game in the next few minutes.
Call of the Forge God comes out, and the Baron goes down, secured by Kobbe. And they can turn their eyes towards the Ocean Soul in 2.5 minutes time if they so desire.
I mean, I think they can just look to end the game, Medic. With the gold lead that they have right now, with the Baron buff, they can play through all 3 lanes if they want. They still have double teleport. Astralis, their wave clear is solid, but I think that it's not going to be anywhere near enough to stop a 3-item Xayah to the 1.5 of Jeskla. The bot diff has been quite significant in this game.
Yeah, Diffy and the Biffy this game, it seems.
Don't think anyone calls bot lane Biffy, but okay.
Sorry, do you play bot lane?
I have on occasion visited bot lane. I've never said I'm gonna gank Biffy.
But you also don't call the jungle the Jiffy.
Yeah, that's why I say that's.
You don't. It's a Diffy and the Jiffy.
Who says that?
Oh, okay. This is a well-known phrase. I won't have anyone pretending it's not.
Okay, fair enough.
Misfits, though, going to push in 3 lanes. Vetheo in the top side has 3 items himself. In the bottom lane, it's HiRit with the Eclipse Neuromancer stacked up. And as you said, Kobbe already on 3 items on this AD carry. Actually looks like the rest of Misfits are going to come across here. They were spotted on ward, Kobbe and Razork, at least as Vetheo rotates from the top lane to the mid lane to gain prior once again. Razork on the chase. Has a fully stacked Deadmans alongside a turbo chem tank. And there's a cannon minion pushing in. Vetheo about to bring up the wave in the mid lane. You can see Zanzarah on his way down as well, but that cannon minion really, no one from Astralis can approach it. Who has the long enough range wave clear? MagiFelix does too much magic damage against these baroned up minions, who of course have increased magic resistance.
Slowly but surely, Misfits walking their way into the base. Now they're threatening the dive.
And they don't even need to. And the tower is gone, promisq flashes away. And there is the first inhibitor of the game. Astralis 9 kills to 1 down. Misfits 14,000 gold ahead. And Betty, you know how I said they were going to go for the Ocean Soul?
Yep. Looks like they're going for the Ocean Soul.
Yep.
They did get themselves an inhibitor first, so that will at least make the remaining siege a little bit easier for them. Baron buff still has 40 seconds left.
They're going for a bait bush. Like, do you really think Astralis are going to challenge you at this point of the game?
Yeah, I mean, they might. It might be their last best hope.
That's true.
I mean, the Collector's now finished for the Kai'Sa, but she is sitting in top lane, just getting what farm that she can. Likely that Razork will just secure this objective, and Astralis is saying, you know what, we're going to have to go for a last fight, final bastion in our base, as the Ocean Soul is secured for Misfits.
And there we go. Baron about to fall off. They'll get the resets. They'll go back to base. They have Ocean Soul. They have as much gold as anyone could really want at this point of a game of League of Legends. Jeskla going to get first tower of the game here for Astralis. Is he? Yeah, Minion's going to come in and help him out. There we go. First tower of the game for Astralis. I wonder if that's the latest first tower.
Okay, no, I'm not doing it. No, we had our fun. That was cease and desist. Astralis now looking to reset. Let's see how much gold that they're currently sitting on, because they're going to need every last penny in order to defend their base. With the bot wave pushing in, with the top now starting to stack up, Misfits are looking to end the game right here, right now. You can see 14k gold on top of Kobbe. To say that he is a wealthy AD carry would probably be selling him short. VandeR, same amount of gold as the enemy jungler.
Kobbe's like Smaug. He's just hoarded all of this money for himself. And he's going to fly over Astralis' tiny little city and burn it to the ground.
He has spent it, you know, on like weapons and armor, which Smaug never really did.
It's like Saruman. He's hoarded all of this army for himself, all of this power. And then the hobbits, he's going to attack them. It's the scourging of the Shire as Astralis trying to defend their little hobbitons.
Did Saruman lose?
I mean, yeah, Misfits have lost enough. I think the Misfits as they look for the top lane inhibitor tower. Astralis trying to defend Zen, played in from VandeR. There's a cataclysm from Zanzarah, but immediately he has to try and get away. Call of the Forge got used here as well, and Misfits just reset the fight. They have super minions pushing in the bottom lane. They just need to put a little bit of damage down to heal themselves up with the Ocean Soul. And now on the next wave, you expect Misfits will be able to crack open this space. It looks like Vetheo is going to catch that mid wave to try and crash 3 waves at once instead of just the 2 that are going in. Should be pretty easy now that Astralis have burnt a lot of their utility in that last little engage. No cataclysm available.
They held on to killing the cannon minion wave because they want the waves to hit at the same time. Now that they're both crashing, you can see that Misfits can threaten both mid and top. A common problem that you'll see in solo queue is people just push. The shockwave will miss, but the tower still goes down. And they will be looking to secure their second inhibitor. So looks like we're not going to get that final fight. I thought Astralis would make one last-ditch effort play to try and bring the game back, but Misfits continue to take more and more. Astralis, your window is running out.
Sometimes you just got to go in and hope that it works. Zanzarah, flash, EQ combo. Pops the stopwatch, Kobbe manages to get away, and meanwhile Razork's just chasing onto his backline. HiRit dives in onto Zanzarah, WhiteKnight jumping away, promisq trying to escape, pulled back by the sun, feathers go out, and the feathers are ripped back through Astralis. Third inhibitor of the game is available for Misfits, but they don't even need it. 11 kills to 1, a 15,000 gold lead, and MagiFelix, he's trying to run away from his base as quickly as possible. Separate himself from the rest of the team. Kobbe caught underneath the fountain, uses the stopwatch, flashes away, and Misfits will get their 3rd win of spring here in the LEC as they convincingly defeat Astralis.
A much-needed win to end the first half of the split for Misfits. It was just domination from start to finish. They pretty much won across the board. A couple of failed plays from Astralis really led them to disaster, and Misfits snowballed the game beautifully, clean from beginning to end.
Really was from Misfits. If you want to vote for one of the Misfits players in the Kia Player of the Game at LEC on Twitter, your options are Razork, Kobbe, VandeR. Yes, support's get in there. He's not going to get it because honestly, his performance was good, but it wasn't amazing. After the break, though, it's time for a TCL reunion as the former rivals Armut and Broken Blade face off once again. This time in the LEC. You locked in? You locked in?
I don't really consider it gear. It's an extension of who I am. It blurs the line between fantasy and reality. Sometimes, I can't tell myself from my machine. I think that's by design.
welcome back to the LEC. Misfits finally broke their lose streak today. And Kobbe, we didn't have a chance to talk yet. So first off, how are you? And what was different today compared to the other games we've seen you play?
What was different? To the first question, I'm good, thank you. I think today we just got off to a really good start. They died on bot lane, and then they tried to like make a desperate play to get back in the game, but then it went really south for them, and then we just snowballed it slowly to a win. So I think what was different, we didn't play against G2, so...
That must help for sure, but okay. I want to bring some light over something I want to bring up. When we see Misfits play, it looks like you guys have a hard time converting early leads into the mid-game, so transitions from early game to mid-game. It's something we often see with teams, but I feel like it's what made you lose the games lately, outside of playing against G2. So what made this early from mid-game transition difficult for Misfits, and have you been able to work on this?
I think it's like we got off to a really good start in the Super Week, and since then it's been kind of disaster. I think we have really good players on the team, like skilled players, but we lack some fundamentals, and that just needs work and time for like for it to get better. So it's like we're doing good, but we're doing the hard things pretty well, but the easy things we are messing up a lot. And I think we had really good practice this week. We improved a lot, and we just need to keep having good practice to fix those lacks of knowledge and just fundamentals work.
All right, coming back to the basics then, but it's interesting because when you look at Misfits, the damage between different players is rather evenly distributed, like you all contribute in the same way. So I want to see there's a carry potential within every Misfits member. Do you agree?
I think so, yeah. In the first week, both Vetheo and HiRit showed that they can carry games and take over. And I mean, I guess I didn't have that many carry games. I mean, we've been losing a lot as well. But yeah, I think we're in a team where most of, like, basically every lane, our jungler as well, who likes to play very aggressive, can be a threat. So sometimes it's just about not getting too over-aggressive and taking the right fights. But that's what I like in our team, because we have like a lot of threats on the team, I feel like.
You say that you didn't carry enough, and yet again, you got player of the game today. So I guess that's a really good performance from you, Kobbe. Are you satisfied with what you played with Xayah today?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I just got a lead and kind of was able to do whatever I wanted on the map, got so much gold. I checked the damage though, HiRit always manages to do more damage than me, so I don't know if I need to play more aggressive or something, but it's... I think I had a good game, and Xayah is one of my best champions, so yeah, I guess I'm satisfied with that.
Yeah, you had a very good game, Kobbe, and I hope you guys will be able to find a form that satisfies you in the second round robin here in the LEC. But for now, that's all for us on this side of the interview booth. Thank you so much for the interview, and good luck for next week.
Thank you.
And we're going to take a break, and we'll come back in a few minutes with Schalke 04 versus Mad Lions. Don't go anywhere.